rest of everything fixed. There we go. Get that moved over here. All right, I need a knife. Sharp. What am I missing? Potatoes, I think. On, not yet. Well, we're rolling. Hey, friends, for anybody on the rewatch, I always try and give it 30 seconds for people to drop in because it takes that long for everybody to get like notifications and stuff. So, oh, here we go. Now we got people. Hey, guys. Hey, Ghost. What up, bro? Matt Richards. Hey, Matt. Mildred, West Coast Girl. John Doe. Cool name, John. Johnny Rose is in the house. Ashley Light. Red Donard, cool name, Red. Oh, Rod. Kara, hey everybody, hey Jenny. I'm skipping people now. I see Pam. I can't call it when I do these videos. They're saved like Music Madness. I can talk to y'all guys and just call everybody out as you're walking through the door. But now when I do these, I have to like just say hey to a few people and jump into the video because everybody on rewatch are like, it was 14 minutes of him saying hi to her. But there's a lot of us, right, guys? Good to see you. I don't have long. This phone could cut off at any moment. I only had like 30% when we started. I've been doing that a lot, and we've been making it like 20, 30 minutes. I just didn't want to charge because I am starving to death, and I wanted to do a quick cooking video with y'all guys because y'all have enjoyed that in the past. And I like doing the cooking videos kind of on a live. I don't know. It feels more like y'all guys are just standing in the kitchen. So what we're doing today, we're going to do poor man stew, poor woman stew. It depends on who's cooking, right? It's for poor people, though. And however, rich people will pay a lot of money for it because us poor people know how to eat, if you know what I mean. So like I said, I'm starving to death. I decided on a stew because I have limited funds and I've been... The worst part, guys, I don't know if you can relate to this, trying to save money by cutting back on things and stuff and then still being just as broke by payday. I don't know how it happens. My buddy Jimmy and I had a good 30-minute, like, kind of laugh fest about it here today because he's in the same boat, right? And so I went down to the store. I need some real chow, right? Everything's so expensive. So I was like, stew sounds really good. I kind of splurged instead of getting the stew meat, since I'm just making a small batch. I got a small thing of cross rib steak, and that sounds really good. It was $3.91, and that's for everything. That's not per pound, so it works for me. Now with stew, what I like. So Quentin Tarantino, I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan, right? He did this movie called Hateful Eight. It's a Western. It's pretty good, and in it they talk about how a person's stew is almost like a signature, right? It's almost like your signature. It's unique to you. And he's always like, or in the movie, he was like, it didn't matter the meat, I forget what the guy's name was, but his stew tasted like his stew. Millie's stew tasted like Millie's stew. And that's what I kind of remember with stew, is that's kind of how it seems it is. Now what I do is, now I was told as a kid growing up that this is kind of, we called it like an Irish stew. Now I do know that a lot of people, they'll put a little bit of cornstarch in there, which thickens it up. My stew, I don't put anything in it to thicken it up. If I want, I might cut some potatoes where they'll dissolve and then the starch of the potato will thicken it a bit. But I'll show you all that once we get involved over here. Let's see, get y'all in a little closer. I'll do the less chit chat and we'll just get right into the cooking video. So first, let me wash my hands. I decided this month, honestly, guys, because like I've been really skimping on food and stuff. Like I've been down to like one meal and a couple snacks in a day trying to save money, and I have really dropped weight. It was the strained muscle on top of the dental stuff and then trying to save some extra money. And tomorrow I'm going to Walmart. I am going to write out a list like I was on a boat and I wasn't going to be able to get off that boat for a month, and I'm just going to get some good chow. So I'm spending this paycheck on chow basically, which will be good because I got to bulk back up. I can tell, like, it's good being a little less weighty, even being that I've burned off the muscle, because it makes me lighter, right? So like when I travel, I don't have to worry so much about my muscle weight having to carry that, if that makes sense. At the same time, I can feel a little bit like I've got a little less energy because my body's only running what I'm eating right then, you know? So moral of the story, food good, Matt hungry. Now, if you want to make this, what we're going to do, we're going to start out with a pan or a pot. We're just going to put some water in there. I grew up with this recipe too, so it's like kind of comfort food. You know how that is, the food from our childhood and how it carries over. What I really enjoy about my life is as a kid, I got into cooking. So I would cook for my whole family at one point. And so I learned all of like the traditional family recipes. I learned a bunch of stuff that was all my own, and then adapted a lot of those recipes to stuff that I like. So being a guy who can cook is really great, right? Because I don't have to eat out of a refrigerator and Hungry Man TV dinners and stuff. I can actually cook my own food, which is another reason I like to do these videos, because all of my recipes are like quick, fast, and they're really good and they're simple. They're not that hard, right? So we got, come on over here, guys. We got some water. So I got 3/4 of a pan here, you know, or 2/3. We've got carrots. So I just get some carrots. I got 3 carrots right here. Any kind of meat. I'm making a small batch, so I didn't really worry. I prefer beef. Pork will work. I'm not a chicken stew kind of guy. That's more like a soup. But beef or pork, I prefer beef. Literally, though, in the end, it doesn't really matter. 1 onion, a can of whole tomatoes. Some people will use sauce. You can use sauce. Some people use diced tomatoes. Diced tomatoes work just as fine. That's the great thing about the poor man or the poor woman meals, right? Is that we can pretty much do the same thing with about anything. Then we got some salt, and you got to have your pepper, right? Got to have some pepper. And what we're going to do, we're going to start out peeling the carrots. Normally, when I peel a potato, oh, I'm sorry, yep. We're going to need some potatoes too, guys. So being that this is a small batch, and I like the russet potatoes, you can use anything. You can use a gold potato, little baby red potatoes, basically whatever you have on hand. So since this is a small batch, I like my taters, I'm going to go 5 small potatoes, and we'll see once I start peeling and cutting. These might actually be a little bit more, and I might not need the 5th, but the potato is really good because it absorbs so much of that flavor as it cooks together, and really is just, it's nice. You know, I just really enjoy my potatoes. Now, when I'm doing my potatoes, I'll peel them by hand with a knife because I didn't have a peeler growing up as a kid, so that's what I got used to. But with an carrot, I find it trickier. It's nice to have an actual, like, a potato peeler or something. I can, if all I have is a knife, what I do, I don't try and peel it long ways like I would a potato. I'll just take the blade like this, and I'll just run it down that carrot like so, just flat. And that'll scrape the top right off. Being that I actually have access to a peeler, all I'm going to do is peel it real fast. It's also very fulfilling. Here, let's get you over. You can actually see what's happening here. It's very, isn't that nice? Maybe I'm a weirdo. You never know. Everybody out there's like, I'm not really getting anything from it. A couple of my crazy friends are like, I want to peel potatoes now. Or carrots. Did I mention it's been a long couple days, guys? Got a heck of a video coming out pretty soon. Let me get you back over here. So Jamie and I, we got back today from a 1-day camping trip. We were going to do 2 days, but things on the mountain, I'm sorry to say, they've gotten they aren't as beautiful. I mean, the mountain is beautiful. The animals are beautiful, but there's stuff happening up on the mountain that's kind of a little bit taking the magic. And I'm going to clarify that once we get into this next adventure video, because there's always little things, you know what I mean? But it was a heck of an adventure. Jamie is a real trooper. And I'll tell you, just a pleasure really to adventure with, because she's a lot like me in a lot of ways on the adventure. So it was so good to have her out there. And we wound up just coming on back today. And I'm kind of glad because I'm really exhausted, kind of not having the opportunity to work out as much here recently. But I was telling you a minute ago, I don't have much energy right now. But that's okay, because it's kind of redirecting my goals, I guess. It's redirecting my internal energy. Okay. It's hard nowadays not to let things bother me. It's like I never really watched a lot of news and stuff, right? But like current events and all, I find that it seems like there's something out there to bug all of us. It's like no matter how great any of us are, it's just not worrying, not caring. There seems to be something out there that can get pretty much anybody. It's like those video games like Grand Theft Auto. They say that if there isn't something in Grand Theft Auto that'll offend somebody, that you're not living, right? And it's kind of how it feels. So I try and redirect my energy. That's why I don't talk about it as much with y'all guys here and stuff. I would like to know, because being on YouTube like this and all, and like a lot of the people I follow, there's a lot of current events and stuff and all that I would like to share with y'all guys. And I don't think that the media is really doing justice to. And I want to do some parts where I include some of this stuff. I'm not going to give you my personal feelings, but I would like to give you a little bit of like that, but not in the way that the media does it. Because I feel that they keep us so rattled. I feel rattled. Do you ever feel rattled? So let me know in the comments, if you would, what you think about that. I'm not going to get political or anything, but just including a little bit more of what's going on in the world right now, So I got the carrots peeled. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to peel the here, I'll show you how I do it. So what I do, take the knife. The main thing with a knife is having control over the blade. Otherwise, we'll get cut, right? I grew up doing this, so like it takes practice. Let's not think that we're going to do it overnight, right? So what I do is very simple. I always keep control of the potato first. So I've got really great control over more than half of it with the bottom of my hand, right? And then the blade of the knife, basically I'm trying to build my hands into a peeler. Notice how the blade is so held and stable. And then the way that this turns, that's kind of like with the knife when I flex my hand. So I'm going to be flexing and turning my hand, and it does kind of the same thing. So I'll just show you real quick. And I say, if you're going to start doing this and stuff, I just recommend start slow, So I'm going to keep the knife strong in this hand. I'm going to use my thumb as a guide. These fingers are going to hold more than half of the potato and keep the part that I'm cutting on top. So I put my thumb on the potato, and with these fingers, I'm pushing the potato into the knife. Notice how I'm using those fingers to work the potato around, right? Like this. And it takes a long time. I mean, it really does. And I'll just flip it. And I always try to remember, hold more than half of that so that I've got control over it, because it's going to get slick now, right? And then the same thing over the top. Now, because like I told you, I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have for this broadcast because of the battery. All right, I'm going to set you over here, and we're just going to move through this real fast, guys. They're smaller, so I think I will do all 5 of them. The main thing, I am not moving the knife. I'm keeping the knife right where it is, backed up against my thumb, good control here. And then I'm, with my fingers, dragging that potato into the blade. You know what I like to do too, since I'm not gonna just sit here and peel and be quiet. You know, I have a problem being quiet anyway. Uh, what I try and do in the world, like if things are starting to bug me, no matter what it is, whether it's in the media, whether it's in my real life, whatever it is, I try and always remember the importance of like eating during the day because that activates the metabolism, keeps our body from going into ketosis, which makes us like a little bit more desperate, basically, right? So blood sugars can drop, stuff like that. You know, people get into arguments and stuff that would never happen if they had something to eat. So I always try to remind myself that a little snack during the day, not even something big, will help fight that. Also, if I'm feeling rattled, I don't need to add to that. So if I'm not super tired, I won't use my coffee or I won't drink my coffee as strong. So if it's a rough day and I really need to be able to concentrate and do things right, I'll slack off on that coffee a little bit. And then something else I really like is laughter. So doing something fun, doing something funny will help me get out of a funk. So like if I put on a good comedy, maybe tell some jokes, get into one of those joke duels with a friend where you're both like exchanging jokes and stuff. Just a little bit of humor, a little bit of laughter really helps. Like Jimmy and I were talking earlier today. And yeah, we're both talking about how like when it gets really hard, you ever just crack up, just like things suck, right? But all of a sudden you just start laughing about it, right? It's like, I think that kind of speaks to the power of comedy too, because it releases those endorphins and makes us feel good, you know, it makes us a little less serious. Also the power of a smile. I know it's nowadays you can't remind people to smile, I guess, or something, but like when we smile, it tricks our brain into thinking that things must be going right. So it gives us those positive endorphins. And also we can pass it on too. So if I smile at somebody else, it helps them feel good, right? And maybe they'll smile at somebody else and then that'll help pass it on. All right, back to cooking. We just did the carrots and the potatoes. We'll do the onion and everything else here in a moment. So we're gonna put the water on to heat. I'm gonna go with a medium here because you don't want the water to heat up too fast. It'll make the meat tough. So we wanna do it nice and slow. This is something that takes a couple hours, maybe 3 hours throughout the day. It's nice to start like maybe in the afternoon and then by like 5, it'll be pretty much stew. The longer I let it cook, the more everything absorbs the flavors. So for this much water, I don't measure. I'm just going to take, come on back here. Where are you going, guys? Just going to take the salt here. And because like there's a lot of water, so I'm just going to put a lot of salt. That's about right. That's probably, if I were to guess, probably about 2 teaspoons. Once again, to about that much water. And all this is just guesstimating. Appreciate y'all guys being there. I didn't realize how many. Dang, guys, y'all already clicked that like button 76 times. Y'all guys rock. Thank you so much for being there. And there's 180 of it, or 188 of us here in the kitchen. Pepper, black pepper, the longer we cook it, the hotter it will become. So I try and not add too much black pepper. So I'm just going to do literally, oh, you know what? If I turned on the back burner, it would probably heat a lot faster, being that the pot is on the back burner. So I'm just going to put literally a little pinch of black pepper in there. And that's going to really concentrate. Don't go for a hot stew anyway. I just want that flavor, really. Now, so whenever we cook something in water, most of you guys probably know, as that stuff gets done, it's going to start getting mushy. If you keep cooking it, it's going to break down, and it's going to break down into a real mush where it doesn't hold its shape anymore. So being that we're cooking several different things at the same time, like the meat's going to take a lot longer to cook than the carrots or the potatoes. And while it's cooking, those flavors will absorb into the carrots and into the potatoes. The trick, though, is to make sure that they're large enough that they're not going to get too mushy by the time the meat is done. So for something like this, I try and remember I make my carrot slice, because carrots, they're a little bit denser. So I do a carrot slice about 3/4 of an inch or so. And then if I don't have as much time, I'll cut it a little bit smaller. Instead of making it thinner though, I'll just cut it in half. I want to eat in the next 2 hours, so I'm gonna make this a little faster. So you wind up with something like that. And then as it gets smaller, as the carrot diameter gets smaller, when you reach the end, don't worry about it. Don't try and cut them thicker as the carrot gets smaller. Just stick to that about 3/4 inch, half to 3/4 of an inch. And as you do this for yourself, it'll become your stew. This is Matt's stew right now. But once y'all guys start doing it yourself, you make a few batches, you figure out what you like or what you don't like, maybe a new ingredient or something, it'll become your stew. Cooking, I feel, is all about owning what we're doing. So I just, as the water's heating, I just keep adding the ingredients in. I don't add the ingredients to already hot water. I start heating the water as I'm cutting the material we're gonna use. We're gonna check that battery real quick, guys. I wanna make sure we're okay. I might need to speed this up if not. Oh, dang, 18 minutes. Okay, we're gonna have to move a little faster than this. All right, so let's get these carrots cut and we'll move on. I know, Emerald Lagasse, I am not. Okay, potatoes, pretty simple. I'm gonna cut them about the same. I'm gonna go with about a good 3/4 of an inch, guys. And I just lay the potato long ways and cut across it this way. I don't worry too much about how it turns or the thickness. See, they cut about the same. And I'm gonna go once down the middle on these. We try and keep them a little bit larger, like I was saying before, but like I said, I'm trying to rush this a bit. So something like that for like an hour and a half cook time on a stew is not bad. Sometimes also, if you want a thicker stew, you don't have that, what you call it, cornstarch to thicken it up. You can take a couple of your potatoes, cut them real small, like this. And what that's gonna do, those are gonna completely disintegrate by the time the meat is ready. The meat takes the longest to cook. So that'll be total mush is what's gonna happen. And when that turns to mush, the starch in the potato will actually make the liquid, the water, thicken up real nice. So I might do that just so I don't wind up with too watery of a base. Okay, let me get these cut real fast. We're running out of time, my friends. If one of them winds up a little thicker, just chop it into smaller pieces. So this one I'm gonna do quarters like that because it was a little bit thicker. Well, you know how it is when like you're not hungry and then all of a sudden you start cooking and like, you ever do that? All of a sudden you're just like starving. It's where I am right now. I mean, I almost think I'm gonna cook like some bacon and eggs or something while I'm waiting for the stew to cook. Gotta move fast. When I make those smaller pieces, I use the ends, by the way. I just find that they're misshapen anyway. So if I want to thicken it up, I use the ends and I just cut them into small pieces. I kind of like a watery stew though, so I don't like my stew too thick, honestly. All that just goes back in the water. You can do this in any order you want. It doesn't matter. Now the onion, worst I've ever got cut in my life is cutting an onion. They're slippery, they're hard to deal with, they're round, so they don't have a flat space. If you're not very good with a knife, I can help you with that, all right? Or let's say you're practicing with a knife, because people who aren't good at something are simply people who haven't had the practice to get good at the thing. You know, nobody's born knowing how to fish, right guys? So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take the onion, and this is so I don't get cut, right? Now I can cut this anywhere I want because I've got the practice, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the side of the onion down one time. And that's gonna give me flatness. So I've got a flat onion now, so it's not gonna roll on me. I'm gonna take the ends. I'm just gonna cut those ends off real thin. Remembering to always try and maintain control of that knife. And the outside edge will pop off. I always try and save as much onion as I can, but lots of times nowadays, and I hate always complaining about nowadays, but like, do y'all guys remember how like there was such quality to stuff back in the day, right? But nowadays that outer skin of the onion, it's all beat up anyway from harvesting, so I don't worry about losing it too much. Onion, I want pieces about yay big. And then, you know, it's going to thin up. It'll thin itself up. Oh, y'all guys are donating? I haven't been able to look in here. Guys, I'm so sorry that I can't call you out by name. And thank you so much for your support. And it makes such a difference. Now, if you don't have it, don't do it, guys. But just thank you very much. I so appreciate you. I wish I was in the chat to be able to thank you properly by name. But just know that my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much for your support. All right, let's cut this quick, guys, because we're running out of time. So I'm going to go a quarter or a half. I've cut the onion in half. I'm going to flip it flat side down, turn it, and I'm going to cut it again, but I'm going to cut it like I did my potatoes. Just cutting it into like 3/4 inch slices. Get rid of that end there. Now I'm going to turn it one more time, cut it right down the center. This one here is going to go into a bag because that's more onion than we need. Now what we've got right here are those nice chopped little pieces of onion. We put those in. I always try and break it up. It doesn't really matter because by the time the stew's done, the onion will break up. But I like the liquids and the flavor to be able to get to every piece of the ingredients right off the bat. So I'm going to break it up nice. Like I said, this is going to go into a bag here in a little bit, save it for tomorrow's stew, or maybe if I do like, I don't know, onion rings or onion bits. 1 whole can tomatoes. Like I said, you can use any kind of tomato. It doesn't really matter. I prefer whole because you get chunks of tomato in there, and I like that in my stew. So we're going to open that. I'm only cooking for me or I wouldn't blow on the ingredients, guys. Jamie might have some. Yeah. You like stew, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think you made this before and I liked it.
Oh, I did, yeah. When I first moved in, yeah.
Roger donated $10.
Thank you, Roger. Hoorah, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to all y'all guys. Hey, have you seen Rebecca?
Yeah, so I was talking to her and we need to see if she got blocked somehow because she can't comment.
Okay. That happens sometimes, guys. People wind up getting blocked by accident. What is that? By accident. See what I mean? That's a leaf off of a tomato. 10 years ago, you would never see that, guys. But yeah, Rebecca, if you are watching this, we've missed you. We were wondering where you have been. We will go in and check because it does happen sometimes. I don't know if it's the algorithm. I know it's none of us. So it's got to be something, maybe a YouTube thing or just a bug in the system. We'll go in right after this and check, Rebecca.
Yeah, I told Robert too.
Yeah.
Her app needs updated or something.
Oh, that's true. That's happened in the past. Yeah. 12% battery. We're still rolling good, guys. Okay. Yeah, no, Rebecca, we missed you. Like, totally was worried about you, my friend. Okay, so I'm opening up the meat here. As I've said several times, does not matter what kind of meat you use. Stew is stew, all right? I like beef or I like pork. My preference goes to beef, honestly. And then later I'll show you what you can do with basically the same ingredients and making a chicken soup is what I would refer to it as. Now my buddy Michael Robinson taught me that when selecting meat, what you want to look for is for it to be cut across the grain. So if you look at this, the grain of this meat is facing us. See how you can see all the little capillaries? That means that it was cut across the grain. If it was cut with the grain, you would see something more like this. You'll see these sideways lines. That's going to make it very tough. Yes, Stu?
Oh.
Hi. Stew is designed to make the meat soft no matter what, but that takes a lot more cooking at a lot lower temperature. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm looking for 1-inch cubes here. The easiest way I've found to do it, get your meat all together, run long ways, 1-inch strips. And this is a little bit tough, so it's going to be a good stew or a good choice for stew meat, you know. You want something, if you're trying to cook it faster, you want something that's a little more tender. And I'm just doing 3 big cuts right down the center of it. I don't worry too much because by the end, everything's going to cook out or cook together. So you got some membranes and stuff in here. If I were doing this for a family, if I was doing this for friends coming over, I'd go in and I'd remove all this little stuff. Being I'm just doing it for me and I'm hungry, I don't really care. You know, I can come out while I'm eating it for all I care. So then I'm going to cut these into battery warning. All right.
Hey, William's in here.
William from home?
Yeah, Alaska.
Hey, Will. How you doing, brother? Hoorah. I'm glad you're here, man. We only got about 6 more minutes. We're doing a cooking video. It's good to see you, bro. I hope things are going well. All right, guys. So we're looking for, like I said, these little 1-inch cubes. So I'm just going to keep cutting those through. Now, what we've got here, I'm going to show you is a problem that starts. Notice we're running out of space in the pan. The more stuff we put in there, the higher the water level is going to start getting. They call it displacement in science. So that's why I try and remember that when I put the water in, I get everything started. That way I don't have to take any water out to make more room. I think we're going to have to do that this go around though. All right. So like this, like I was saying, that's going to be really tough. These membranes, once they start to boil, they start to contract like a muscle, basically, which makes sense. I mean, it is part of a muscle. And so that's just going to be super tough. So where I can, I cut that stuff out and I go ahead and ditch it. If you got a dog or something, it's nice to cook that stuff up, maybe mix it in their food or something, you know. Around here, I toss it because I don't have anything else to do with it. Okay, I got this cleaned real fast. So all we gotta do is get the ingredients together. I'll give you instructions on time and how to know for sure that everything's done. And then we'll click off. We're doing Madness tomorrow, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we're doing Music Madness tomorrow, guys. Probably start sometime around 10 or 11. I'll do a short or a quick live and let y'all guys know ahead of time. Okay, we're almost there, friends. Now, if this cuts off, thank you for being there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Just remember that you can do it from here, just real low and slow. You want low heat, real slow, cook for 2 to 3 hours. So now we've added too much water, which is all right, because now I'm going to show you what to do if that happens. This is really technical, so you're going to have to pay a lot of attention, okay? If you've got too much water and you can no longer put the rest of your ingredients in that water without it rolling over, and you need a little bit of space, because once it starts bubbling and stuff, it's going to move around. You're going to have to do something really technical. You get yourself a cup, all right? You with me? Dip it into that. Pour it in the sink. Now, if that wasn't enough, rinse and repeat, like they say on the shampoo bottle. You're done. All right, are you with me, guys? So we add this meat in here into this pan.
Brenda donated.
Oh, Brenda, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to all of y'all guys. You've made the difference. You really have. We're gonna get a lot more successful. Instead of me constantly needing help, we're gonna be able to get to a point where we will be able to help others. I mean, we've got the help the others drive already, but I can't say how much you have improved the quality of my life, and through quite possibly the quantity. All right. Now the mess. Yeah, I make a mess while I cook and I clean up afterwards. Some people who are a little better off, and like the how to put it all together. Like my friend over here, Jamie, she knows how to clean as she goes. And so when she's done with whatever she's doing, she's done, right? This will take me about 20 minutes to finish up. What's important though is the food and hopefully having people to share it with, If not, at least we have the knowledge and the know-how that we can take care of ourselves. Not having to depend solely on other people and stuff feels good. Knowing that we've got what it takes to be able to take care of ourselves and maybe at some point take care of others feels good. It gives our life that purpose. So I know that things are hard out there for a lot of people. I'm sure there's lots of people that their lives are just lovely and nothing ever bothers them. For a lot of us, life can be difficult, right? It can be hard. And it's important to be engaged. Clicking out allows all that bad stuff to just keep going, right? Because that's what the bad guys want, is for us not to be involved. And lots of times for our own mental health and our own security, we have to kind of click off and not be involved, or we go crazy, right? I think everything in small doses, stand up for the things that we can stand up for, right? Don't worry if we can't, don't destroy ourselves over certain things, right? But always remember that you're the hero of the story. People just like you have changed the world. And the people that have changed the world come from backgrounds that no one ever thought they would have been able to do it. All right, there's one of you. Nobody else is ever going to be like you. So please take care of my friend out there and take care of those who you can. I believe in you. I'll see you next time. Oh, like I said, cook this for about 3 hours, guys, depending on the size you do. If you want, just scale everything up. If you're cooking for a large group or something, scale it up. If you're only cooking for 1 or 2 people or one meal, scale it way down. It's your thing. Make it your stew. This isn't my stew. This is your stew now. Bye, guys. Medium heat. You don't want it to cook fast. You don't want it to cook hot. Never give up. Never surrender.